people are not abiding to 2 meter distance. If you have people meeting up and then standing next to each other, and you just worry because people are putting each other at risk, but they don't seem to care. So I don't understand why, and for that reason I just didn't feel comfortable showing recording you of the past experience that we've had with people at the office, and people questioning us why we're socially distancing, saying, oh, you look better. But I know that that's happened in the past. That don't make me feel comfortable to go into a place where I know people are most likely to not abide to the 2 meter distance.
So, I mean, I'm just trying to reassure you a bit. How many people do you think between the ages of 0 to 90 know about the coronavirus? I mean, your age group and younger people.
Most people are very, very, very aware of the changes that are taking place online. And I
Do you
think
feel not worried for you while you're going to university?
not going to university is going to start kids off with I'm worried that I'm going to want to start university online because obviously
Oh, I see.
you
I thought your mum was suggesting that you didn't physically go to university where you might be.
no, I'm not. That's not my worry.
Okay.
My worry is that that's a separate issue. I just the feeling that I have.
Thank you both very much, and I hope you enjoy this sunny bank holiday. So tell me, everybody, are people obeying lockdown in your area or not? I have. Milu, is that how we pronounce it? Milu from Fatima. Very nice. Yes, Tanya, I thought so. I guess it was Milu in the original Tintin in the French. Good evening, Milu. Is it a nickname? Okay, awesome. Sure. So can I just ask, are you glad you've done lockdown here rather than in Italy or Spain in that case?
some of our most advanced features, including a 10-inch digital cockpit and smart assistant systems like lane departure warning. Picture what that Audi looks like. Now think smaller. The Audi A1. It's not a small car, it's a small Audi. Visit audi.co.uk. Audi. Vorsprung durch Technik. Like Filippo Mario Olive Oil, our master blenders never stop until they find the perfect flavor worthy of our boundless signature that you will still see on every bottle. Filippo Mario is signature, our promise. Find us at your supermarket today. Hi, I'm Alan Jones, and I hope you'll join me for my new podcast, Oh My Goodness. We'll be celebrating the good news we rarely hear. Hailing some heroes and bringing you selfless acts of kindness that make your days just that little bit happier. Oh My Goodness, with me, Alan Jones. Listen now, VA Podcasts.
Hi, I'm Dan from NatWest Manchester branch. We know life's hard right now, but if coronavirus has affected your finances, we're doing our best to make things easier. If you're a personal customer, you can request a 3-month payment break if you're struggling with your mortgage, loan or credit card. Or if you need help with an existing arranged overdraft, you can get £500 interest-free for 3 months. Remember, every one of us is here to support you, and there are lots of ways we can help. Search NatWest Coronavirus.
Eligibility and conditions apply to payment breaks. Overdraft up to your agreed limit if lower than £500.
Today's conversation with LBC with Rachel Johnson.
Throughout the day here on LBC, we've been marking the 75th anniversary of victory in Europe Day. On this day in 1945, the then Prime Minister Winston Churchill announced that war in Europe had come to an end. Earlier today, the UK fell silent. Millions have marked the day at home, although, of course, large events and gatherings are cancelled because of coronavirus. LBC's senior reporter Matthew Thompson has more on how the UK celebrated this anniversary.
Rachel, it's not been the VE Day that many people had hoped for, especially when that bank holiday was moved, especially so that we could celebrate it. But nonetheless, there's still been a day packed full of celebrations and commemorations right across the country. Here in central London this morning, we were treated to a dazzling display by the Red Arrows, who'd flown all the way down the east coast of England, and we were there to greet them as they soared over Buckingham Palace in that trademark red, white and blue. And then, of course, at 11 o'clock, there was a nationwide 2-minute silence led by Prince Charles from Scotland to remember all of those who made sacrifices in the war. And I myself was at Westminster, where there was a short, socially distanced, it has to be said, service in Westminster Hall as the speakers of the Commons and the Lords laid wreaths. And the stirring notes of the last post echoed around the palace. And at 3 o'clock, Royal Navy warships right around the world blasted their sirens for a minute, which marked the moment that Winston Churchill addressed the nation, effectively bringing an end to the war in Europe. And we played a little bit of that speech earlier on here on LBC. And at that time as well, Britons around the country, at their stay-at-home garden parties or street parties that they were having, obeying those social distance rules, were encouraged to join into a national toast